Hi everyone, today I'm making a French apple tart. This is an easy and elegant dessert to make, and it looks like it came out of a French bakery. You can make this as an after-dinner dessert for Valentine's Day, for after a holiday, or just any time. It only takes a few ingredients and minimal work, so you're going to really love this. Please enjoy the video, and if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to my channel yet, please do. I would love it. You'll find the ingredients listed below in the description box, and you'll find the full recipe at Diane's World Cooking on Facebook. Thanks for watching.
I thawed puff pastry out in my refrigerator overnight. You don't want it room temperature, you still want it cool. Put this on a parchment paper. I'm going to roll out the puff pastry very minimally because I just want to thin it down a little bit. You'll want to get 4 pieces out of your sheet of puff pastry. You can see I'm folding it over and pinching the ends so I can measure it exactly. You don't really have to do this. And just give it a real clean cut. Now I'm folding it over one more time with the pinches on either side, and I will have the exact measurement I want. Place your sheets of puff pastry on your parchment paper and give them just a little bit of room in between. I used a Granny Smith apple here. Just make sure it's a firm apple, and I'm cutting it in quarters. You can see that I left the skin on. I think it looks more attractive that way, plus the apple holds up much better when it's baking. After you quarter the apples, you'll want to get that core out, so just slice that away. And now I'm going to take these and cut them in a really thin slice, about 1/8 of an inch thick, and try and keep them all a little bit consistent with each other so they all bake at the same time. You'll have some little pieces too left over, and you can tuck those in if you need them. I'm taking about 2 to 3 tablespoons of very cold butter, and I'm going to cut them into little tiny pieces. You can cut them into slices first and then into smaller pieces. This is so much more easier than breaking them off with your fingers. And now we're going to puncture little holes all over the puff pastry with a fork. This is called docking. And it's done so the puff pastry doesn't rise up too much while it's baking. Here are our apples, and now we're going to decorate. I love to do these in different ways, different designs. You can make each tartlet with a different design, and that's so much fun. Make sure to leave a little bit of a border around the edges. Those are going to puff up and make it look really pretty. You'll want to overlap all of your apple slices, but when you make your design, try and make sure that they just come right up to the other design so you don't have any gaps. This next one is one of my favorite designs. You'll fan out your apple slices, and they just look like a beautiful flower or some kind of tropical foliage. You are going to have a few apples left over, and you can use those too to fill in the spaces. You'll need about 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, maybe a little bit less, and you sprinkle them all over the apples pretty generously. That's what's going to sweeten up that apple. Now it's time to top your French apple tarts with your chopped up butter. Just be liberal with it and sprinkle it all over. It's going to make them taste so good. So they're ready to go into a preheated 375-degree oven. You can make the apricot glaze while you're waiting for your tarts to bake. I'm using a few tablespoons of apricot preserves and 1 tablespoon of rum. You can see that the preserves are big and chunky, so you're going to have to put them through a sieve. If you had jelly or jam, it would be better. Here is where you rotate the pan after the first 15 minutes of baking. I want to make sure that the insides of each tart are totally done. You put them back in the oven for about 40 minutes, and you'll be able to see that the interior part of the tart is totally done. It should be a light golden brown like the other edges.
The French apple tarts came out great. So now we're going to make them look really pretty.
Carefully paint all of the cooked apple tarts with your apricot jam. Make sure that it's still warm. You can always microwave it to get it a little bit soft if it's hardened up. That's really important. The French apple tarts are totally done now and ready to eat. each one really is good for one person. They might look large, but they're actually very light. The French apple tart is ready to taste. I just let it cool down a little bit. You can eat these warm or cold, it doesn't matter. You can have a little bit of whipped cream on the side, or a really good gelato, or a favorite ice cream of yours. So let's try this out. Definitely want to have a knife and a fork. You just get enough of that apple, an incredibly beautiful butter flavor with just a tiny bit of sugar. These aren't overly sweet. These are just fabulous. You could make these with peaches or pears too, and you could probably even do berries. Anyway, I hope you get to make this for your favorite company or a partner, or just for yourself. They freeze really well too. Just wrap them up tight, get them in the freezer, and then you can warm them in the oven just a little bit, just to get them a little bit crunchy. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks to all my subscribers. And I'm looking forward to sharing another video with you really soon.